Did you know someone you know today don't want what you have? What they really want is to see you without it. Believe it or not, someone can secretly dislike you without saying a single word. They might seem cool at front, but underneath, what they plan and how they think could be completely different. In this lesson, you'll learn 5 simple tricks to spot them fast. And no, you won't lose friends. You will gain clarity. By the end of this video, you will be shocked about the reality of your relationships. Let's face the situation. Have you ever noticed how someone is sending you mixed signals? You had probably felt it at some point, uncomfortable by someone's strange behavior or tone. It often starts with sarcasm. Some people use sarcasm as a way to mask their hostility towards someone they dislike while maintaining a socially acceptable behavior. If someone recurs often to use sarcasm with you, it could mean more than you think. For example, I could say, "Thank you for being a loyal subscriber," knowing that you are not subscribed to the channel. That will just make you feel bad for no reason, instead of saying directly, "Hey, I would really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel as it supports our content." See, there are 2 main ways in which haters use sarcasm. 1, they often use sarcasm to hide their dislike through comments that sound like jokes, but are actually meant to hurt you. Instead of being direct about their feelings, they make fun in a way that seems harmless. This allows them to say something mean without looking rude or mean-spirited. Receiving this type of jokes or comments feels uncomfortable, but you cannot always tell if it was meant as an insult. And 2, sarcasm also helps the person keep a safe distance emotionally. By using humor, they avoid open arguments while still showing they don't like you. If you happen to confront them, they can easily say they were just joking, which makes it harder to talk about the real issue. This way, the dislike stays hidden, but the negative feelings still come through in a sneaky way. Let me share with you a story where this toxic behavior became a real issue. That's the story of 2 friends. Jake and Will had been friends since childhood. They grew up in the same neighborhood, went to the same school, and had always been seen as inseparable. From the outside, it seemed like they were close, like brothers. But what no one knew was that, over the years, Jake had developed a deep sense of resentment toward Will, hidden behind a mask of friendly smiles and sarcastic jokes. It wasn't that Jake always hated Will. In fact, they had once been truly good friends. But as they grew older, Jake began to envy Will's natural personality, the way people were drawn to him, and the success he seemed to achieve with less effort. While Will remained genuine, trusting, and hard-working, Jake harbored a quiet bitterness, and instead of addressing it, he let it grow. The subtle signs of Jake's true feelings started to appear in small ways. Will would ask for help with something, and Jake would agree, only to show up late or not at all. He'd make excuses, too tired, too busy. But deep down, he just didn't care enough to support Will. When Will shared his dreams and hopes, Jake would listen with half-hearted interest, responding with a quick, sarcastic remark that left Will feeling slightly unsettled. But Will, always assuming the best of his friend, ignored these moments, convincing himself that Jake is just being his usual self. Will had worked his entire life for a shot at going pro in football. He had finally been offered a tryout with a semi-pro team, a dream he had chased since he was a kid. Knowing how much it meant to him, Will asked Jake to come with him for support. Jake agreed with a smile, saying, "Of course, man, I'll be there." The day of the tryout, Will was nervous but excited. He was ready to prove himself on the field. He arrived early to warm up and waited for Jake, looking around the stadium entrance. He checked his phone, expecting a message, but there was nothing. As the minutes passed, Will's heart sank. Jake, his best friend, was nowhere to be found. The pressure of the tryout, combined with Jake's absence, threw Will off his game. Without his friend's support, as they shared the same love for football, Will felt alone, vulnerable. He made mistakes he normally wouldn't, his confidence crumbling as the game went on. In the end, Will didn't make it. Later that evening, he got a short text from Jake. "Sorry, man, something came up. Hope it went well." No explanation, no real apology, just a cold message, as if it didn't matter. That's when it all became clear to Will. This wasn't the first time Jake had failed him, and won't be the last. Over the years, Jake's sarcasm, his lack of real support, and his frequent absences were all signs Will had let pass. But now, in his lowest moment, Jake's betrayal hit him fully. Jake didn't care about his success, or worse, maybe he didn't want him to succeed at all. From that day on, Will knew their friendship wasn't what he thought it was. Jake had silently betrayed him, not through open hostility, but by never being there when it truly mattered. And that, for Will, was the deepest betrayal of all. See, you could have a hidden hater too under the mask of a friend. Be careful. Some people become your friend because you have something that they want. Some just want to use you as a stepping stone. Understand this, and you will gain instant wisdom. If you have a friend who does any or multiple of the following forms of social exclusion, it's time to do something about it. Ignoring the conversation. When you try to share something personal or exciting, your friend often talks over you or quickly changes the subject. It makes you feel unimportant and ignored. Lack of feedback. You share good news, but instead of celebrating with you, your friend responds with a half-hearted comment and then shifts the focus back to themselves. It feels like they're not genuinely interested in your achievements. It reinforces the feeling that you're undervalued. Private invitations. You notice that your friend invites everyone else to hang out but doesn't include you. When you hear about these get-togethers from others, it stings, making you feel betrayed. Selective support. Whenever you face challenges, your friend is nowhere to be found or seems to be unavailable while in reality is doing something more enjoyable for them. Social exclusion. You see your friend frequently posting about outings with others, but you're never included in these posts, leaving you feeling rejected. Avoiding one-on-one time. This person seems to enjoy hanging out with others, but consistently avoids spending time alone with you. At this point, you might be thinking that the problem lies in fake friends, and yeah, you are right. At least for more part, it seems like fake friends are a real problem. That's exactly why you need to stop attracting this type of false persons into your life. You can do that by simply observing their physical interaction when you meet somebody. Body language can reveal a lot about how someone feels and thinks about you, even if they're not saying it out loud. This is very important to identify soon, as it can instantly tell you their true intentions, saving you a ton of hard times. When someone dislikes you, they tend to hide their body away from you. They close their body in a way that signals defensiveness or a desire to create a barrier. For example, if you're chatting with someone and they fold their arms tightly or shut their lips firmly, they're not open to the conversation. They might hold the conversation just to play the nice person role, but in reality, they wish not to be there. When a person turns their body slightly away from you or leans back, it can indicate a lack of interest. Imagine sitting across from someone who shifts their body away while you're talking. This person is telling you they really want to ignore you by distancing themselves. This disinterest is even more obvious when the other person starts playing with their hair, tapping their foot, or checking their phone as you talk, or even making face expressions like frowning or rolling their eyes. That is a subtle way of being rude without saying anything. Next time you're having a conversation, keep an eye on the body posture of the other person. An expert tip is to apply the mirror effect. People often mirror each other's body language when they feel comfortable. If you notice that someone never mirrors your gestures or posture when you are engaged in a conversation or any social situation, it's a clear signal that they are not comfortable with you. Talking about keeping an eye. If someone consistently avoids making eye contact with you, it can show discomfort or disinterest. For instance, during a group discussion, if they keep looking away when you speak, they don't care what you have to say. And that's completely fine. You don't need to be liked and accepted by every single person in this universe. That's exactly the issue most people have with gossip. Some people simply can't stand others' critics, but here is the solution. I want you to remember. If they don't pay your bills, don't pay attention to them. Life is too short to waste it, worried about others who don't really appreciate you. Make sure you are following the path that truly fulfills you, and with the people who are worth your companion. Facing this reality with stoicism gives you peace of mind. You will no longer have to check over your back, worried about betrayal. Watch the next video if you want to learn how to cleverly deal with toxic individuals. All the love, all the power.